The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests. If you're a sensitive snowflake that may get easily offended, then turn this off immediately. If you want to hear the real truth about the gun culture, then stick around. This is the Armed Citizen Podcast. What is going on, my Ghost Squad? Welcome to the Armed Citizen Podcast Live. This is episode number 216. We are live, as always, on YouTube and on Facebook. If you're out there in the chat, we don't know that you're out there unless you say something, so please say hello. If you're new to the show, new to the channel, let us know that you're a newbie, and we'll try to pop that cherry very quickly for you. Let us know where you're from, and we'll try to give you a shout out. If you want to call Ghost Tactical Hotline, presented by our good friends Rod and Shelly Gates at Aegis Gun Care, that number is 530-364-4678. Matter of fact, I just got up to en route, I don't know how you say it, but to Tulsa for the Wanamaker Tulsa Arms. Talk to him, and so we'll be seeing him Friday. If you're a veteran, really anybody, but especially if you're a veteran and you're in that hole and you don't know if you can find a way out or whatever, call me, text me, email me anytime. Sounds like I'm being a little robot-y. All right, I'm going to have to use, things been going nuts with the internet. Let me see if I can get on my phone, and we'll go with the phone tonight. And all that. Hold on, stand by. We'll do it this way. I don't having to go with the phone, but it might be our only option. Might be the Wi-Fi. It's just kind of crazy around here. So,
all right, can you guys hear me now? All right, so we're just gonna do it this way then with the old phone and all of that. So once again, if you guys are out there and you're a veteran, or anyone really, but if you're a veteran especially, you're in that hole and you can't seem to find your way out, call me, text me, email me 24/7. I can't give you medical advice, but I can probably be a pretty decent ear to listen to and help you that way. If you are looking for someone that can get you some medical help and get you towards that situation, then seriously, utilize the Veteran Crisis Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. Once again, 1-800-273-8255. Press the number 1, and it'll definitely get you some help out that way. More importantly, you're not alone in this fight. You got a lot of brothers and sisters out there that are willing to help. And always the number 2 thing is the world is a much better place with you in it. So get some help. We're always out here to help. If you're interested, we are spotlighting the Marine Corps as always. So if you're interested in finding out more info on how to earn the title United States Marine, please contact or see the website marines.com. I do want to give a special quick shout out to all of my fellow devil dogs out there. Tomorrow is the Marine Corps birthday. So all of you out there that are on social media, I'm just letting you know, tomorrow is going to be flooded with a bunch of Marine Corps shit. Don't care if you like it or not. It's just the way it is. That's how we roll. So that's what we're going to do. Is tomorrow is the Marine Corps birthday, and then on Thursday's Veterans Day. So happy Veterans Day. Thank you to everyone out there that served our country and all of that. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Wanamaker Tulsa Arms Show. It is the largest gun show in the world. And it's 11 acres under one roof in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma. So if you've never been, they have it twice a year in April, the second weekend in April and the second weekend in November every year. They have, I want to say, over 4,500, maybe close to 5,000 tables set up in this thing. They think about, 20 to 25,000 people a day. Is that what they say, Clover? About 20, 25,000 a day come through there. If you're looking for something that's firearm related and you can't find it at Wanamaker, then you're not looking hard enough. It's not available. I promise you that. So yeah. Before we get going with this, I do want to go over, as you guys know, and Calavera says, and a whole bunch of devil dogs getting trashed on booze. That may or may not happen. Just saying. But as you guys know, on every Thursday, Saturday, and Monday at 10 a.m. over on our community tab on YouTube, we like to put out some polls. We put out 3 polls a week. Like I said, Thursday, Saturday, and Monday at 10 a.m. We like to have a little fun with them. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 3 polls for this week. The first one was sent out, I guess, last Thursday, and it's got over 1,000 votes. This is one of those because we're talking about taking a road trip this weekend ourselves. But what would you like? What would you like most to do? I know I didn't word that real well because I'm not very smart. But the options are road trip, camping, hanging on the beach, hiking, or just chilling at home. TJ, what about you? If you had to choose one of those and you could that's your getaway, what would you rather do?
Oh, I'd road trip it all the way, man.
Yep. Road trip. I enjoy a good road trip. That's just the way I am.
The beach is lost on me. I mean,
Well, I mean, you're there, so I mean, it's yeah. I mean, you can go to the beach anytime you want, really.
Yep.
Which is interesting. When I lived out in California, when I was stationed out at Pendleton, we lived, a few minutes away from the beach. And I think, honestly, we went down there like 4 times ever. It was just one of those things that who figures, I mean, you're right there, but you never, and we live here in a lake and we never go to the lake anymore. So I guess if it's always there, you just kind of see, well, I could always go, but you never do.
Right. I go fishing a lot.
There you go. Well, I always put fishing on there, but, I think people put fishing involved with camping. It's kind of one of those things you do when you go camping is you go fishing, but I almost put fishing as an option. I probably should have done that instead of hiking, and we would have seen something different. But Clove, I want to say Clover's probably going to go hiking. If I had to pick one thing that Clover loves to do, it's hiking, isn't it, bud?
Yeah, walking, you know it, buddy.
So if you had to choose, which one would you choose?
I'd probably road trip. I'm definitely I like driving. I'm not scared of it.
I'm the same way. I do. I like road trips too. That was my choice was road trip as well. Right now, leading the way at 29% is camping, which is a little surprising. I know there's a lot of people that like to camp, but I didn't think you would be leading it. In second place with 26% is a bunch of lazy asses that would just chill at home. Although there's something about that. Having a good pot of chili and a fire going, maybe watching a ball game. There's a lot to be said about this time of year especially. But I was a little surprised at that. Road trip is 22% in third place. And maybe that's because of gas prices now. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with it. But we'll see. Hanging on the beach is at 15%, and then coming in dead ass last at 7% is hiking, which I kind of figured hiking would probably, because once again, the same people that are voting for chilling at the house are like Clover. They ain't gonna go walking, especially walking through the woods. So it's what it is. Let's see here. Our second poll question has 1.3 thousand votes. And once again, this is all kind of people don't realize, but this is all Wanamaker because we always seem to go get a steak or something on Saturday night at Wanamaker. So I asked, how do you like your steak cooked? Rare, medium, well done, or it doesn't matter. Clove, what about you?
All right, give it to me one more time.
Fucker doesn't even pay attention. I swear to God.
It's like I don't. So I didn't. I'm only seen. I think the only one I seen was the one we just did. I think that's the only one that I seen on your community tab.
Okay. All right. Well, how do you like your steak cooked? Rare?
Oh, burn the total crap out of it, pretty much.
You want it well. So
yeah,
you realize at that point it's just jerky, right?
It's got to be. No, I mean the outside, right? So I want a really heavy sear on the outside, right?
Okay.
And so
I can still have a heavy sear, but have medium rare inside.
Yeah, I can handle. I don't want a whole lot of pink for sure, right?
Okay.
So I would say medium well to well on the inside. But yeah, I mean, just absolutely scorched on the outside for sure.
Yeah. So at the absolute worst, you want it medium. You
Yeah,
probably are more medium well or well done, right?
and here's the thing: you got to realize I'm somebody that's really into like smoking and slow smoking and grilling and other things too, right? And so it also depends on the cut of meat, right? So you can
Yeah.
have an absolutely garbage piece of meat, and if you don't cook that thing right, it's gonna be horrible. So that does make a difference, and that's going to make a difference for me. That's going to make a difference. The quality of the cut of meat is going to make a difference in how I cook it, because it's gonna eat better that way, right? Where it might not be optimal for a better cut of meat or a worse cut of meat or whatever.
Right. Now, is it ironic that Two Live Moo out there says rare to he wants it mooing apparently still, So TJ, what about you? How do you like your
That's
steak
where I'm
cook?
at, man. Just hit it with the brand. That's warm enough for me.
Yeah, yeah. I'll put it to you this way. I would rather have rare over well done,
Oh my
but
gosh.
I like medium rare, and I don't mind it being, I would rather have it not enough cooked than too overcooked. But rare to me, it's still, I don't know, it's still, if I had to have it rare, I would take it rare, but I'd rather have it medium rare. I like it. I like a little bit of blood, but I don't want it, I don't want a cold center. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it goes along the lines with Clover saying that the different cut of meat is you
Yeah.
need to cook a little different. You get a good steak, just singeing
Yeah.
good enough.
Yeah,
Rare
and it's one of those things that sounds bad, but you can mess up you can mess up some beef. And if it, like you said, if it's a bad cut, if it's a really, bad sirloin or strip or something like that, then yeah, I'll probably go medium with that. But if it's a good ribeye or something like that, I'm gonna go medium rare and let it be bloody, because that's where the flavor is.
Yep.
So let me ask you guys this, because my wife knows this. Most people don't. If you see me using steak sauce, I love A1. I'll put A1 on a lot of stuff. But a lot of times when I go to a steakhouse, you'll know if I like the steak and whether I'm using steak sauce or not. If I'm not using steak sauce, then that steak is really, really good. But do you guys use any kind of steak sauce, regardless if it's good steak or not?
I'll if it's a horrible steak, I'll throw barbecue sauce or whatever they have on it.
Yeah, yeah. To kind of hide the nastiness. Yeah.
You got to hide something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll put A1 on my baked potato and stuff like that. And every now and then I do like the taste of A1. So I'll put some A1 on the side. But if you see me putting A1 on a steak, it means that steak's not very good. I'm not going to let it go to waste, but I'm going to cover it up. Let's see here. And our last, okay, so I didn't know about this, that 1.3 thousand votes. Coming in first place at 44% is medium rare. Coming in second place with 34% is medium. So we're talking 78%, almost 80% is medium to medium rare, which I figured that's kind of where most would be. Rare is at 7% and dead last, which is kind of interesting. Well done is at 14%. So there are other idiots out there that like Clover that like to just have jerky for
How did
hot
well
jerky.
done beat rare? Dear
That's
Lord,
what I'm saying.
what's wrong
I would
with you?
rather choose rare over well done personally, but
Oh,
And then there is 1% that needs to go to an insane asylum and say it doesn't matter. It does matter. How you cook a steak does matter, folks. Whether you want to believe it or not, it does matter.
I fall into the camp that there's more to it than that to me.
Okay.
Way more to it. I mean, it depends on
Well,
the
you're
cut.
more of a chicken guy anyway, so you're really not a
I'm
steak
not.
guy to
I
begin
am
with.
not big on. I am not big on beef. I'm really not.
I know.
I love me some pork. I mean, I love my pork
Yeah.
ribs and big thick pork chops and stuff like that. And yeah, chicken is super versatile, right? That's why everything tastes like chicken.
Well, usually when we go out, you do, like when we went to the Texas Roadhouse last year, I think you had chicken instead of steak, did you not?
I probably did. I don't know. I don't know, to be
I
honest
don't
with you.
remember. I think you had chicken. You usually do choose chicken if you had
At
to.
Texas Roadhouse, I'm telling you, the loaded sweet potato is where it's at. I could care less about the meats when I go to Texas Roadhouse, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy. I know
I
it
want the
sounds crazy.
rolls.
No, the rolls are good too, but the
The
cinnamon,
roll. Oh
but
my
the honey,
God.
but the honey cinnamon butter is all part and parcel of the rolls, right?
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, that loaded sweet potato, oh my God, if you've never had that, it's amazing.
Now Foose just lost all credibility to his. You just need to go kill something. Get your man card back. Said it matters how you cook a steak, medium well to well done. I just don't understand those words. I don't get it. Now Rich out there says, how can a guy from Texas not like beef? Make sure to check Clover's birth certificate. I
I
agree.
never said I don't like beef. I never said that. So first of all, poor boy has to eat what poor boy can afford to eat, right? And beef is typically more expensive. So, if you find yourself having to eat pork and chicken because you can't afford steak, then that's typically what you eat, and so your preferences follow along those lines, unfortunately. I'll eat a steak.
So
If anybody out there wants to buy me a year's worth of steak, I'll eat steak all year long. I'm just going to throw that on the table. If you're willing to do that, call Omaha Steaks. My address is on the website. Have them sent to me, a year's worth, and we're good. I'll eat them every single night. Not a problem.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
well, or you could just not buy 4 guns this month. You just buy 3 and have a steak.
Come on.
I've
That's
been
crazy
selling
talk.
guns. What are you talking about?
Did I just say that? I didn't mean that. It just came out. I don't know why I
Crazy
said
talk. Why would you do that?
Oh Lord. All right. And the last one of the following, I only have 5 spots in these polls, guys. So, I get yelled at every week. Why did you put this one? I only have 5 spots, but of the following, who's your favorite gun company? We're not talking about pistols or rifles or overall gun company. Glock, Smith & Wesson, SIG, HK, and Ruger. TJ, I'm going to start with you. Of those overall, what's kind of your favorite of those 5?
Oh, I'm still a Smith & Wesson fan.
Yeah. Yep. I hear you.
Yep.
I think overall, I would probably go that route because
if I had to pick one overall, like Smith & Wesson.
Well, you're also talking about a manufacturer that literally makes every kind. They've got shotguns, they've got rifles, they've got ARs, they've got revolvers, they got pistols. Whether or not you like all of their different platforms is one thing, but they offer everything.
I probably got one of each too.
I have everything except for a revolver, and I used to have one of those. It is what it is. But I tell you what,
I got a 500 if you want to shoot it.
Oh man, do you really?
Yes, it's disturbing.
I saw an idiot on one of his little shorts and all that a couple weeks ago that was dual wielding 500s. It's like he took one shot. He's like, okay, I'm done. I was like, yeah, you're an idiot. I was waiting. This is going to end badly. It has to end badly.
It's a beast.
Yeah, I've never shot one.
There's a reason.
Yeah, they look awesome as hell. Hell, it's got like a 10-inch barrel on it almost.
Depends on which one you get. They don't all have that.
Well, the ones that I've seen always have. I don't know how long they are, but they're long barrels, and I don't know all the ones that I've seen are.
They make a shorty. No, they make like a 4-inch one.
Oh hell no! With a 500, you're crazy. No, that's like a 4-inch Desert Eagle. No, thank you.
Yeah.
How long is yours?
It's the long one. I think it's 8.5.
Is it 8.5? Okay, yeah, I knew it was pretty long.
8.25, something like that. 8 something.
Yeah, that's.
I like shooting it because I only have like 20 rounds for it. So.
Well, I'm sure it's not cheap ammo either.
They don't have it often either at the gun store. It sucks.
Yeah. Chloe, if you had to choose one of these companies, which one is your favorite? Probably. Bring it on. I know you're hating to say this, but say it. Go ahead and say it. It's okay. It'll only hurt for a second.
I'm probably. I mean, I'm almost. Almost got to go Ruger, man.
Oh, I figured you were going to hate to say Smith & Wesson because you don't like their semi-autos, but
No, I mean
you're
you
such
get
a big fan of the
into
revolvers, so you know.
yeah, but Ruger has the Vaqueros and the Blackhawks and
Yeah, and they also got the 22s that you like. So
and the security sixes and a bunch of other things. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Ruger 22, the Mark. No, Buck
yeah,
Mark forever on me. But I do recognize the contributions they've made to a lot of things. You've got to look at like the 1022 in the
yeah,
market there, especially what has driven the 22 aftermarket with that. Um, and at one time, they encompassed everything as a company: shotgun, rifle, revolver, semi-auto, right? And when you're talking about the M77 and a bolt rifle, I mean, pretty amazing rifles there. So,
and they
uh,
got the for the long range precision, they've got the American Precision, which is
yeah,
a really good precision rifle as well.
yeah. When you're talking about company wide and all the different things they offer and all the different contributions they've made to the industry side of things, right? Not talking 2A, of course, but industry side of things. Probably Ruger.
Well, and there's a lot of people that may remember Smith and Wesson dabbled in some
Oh yeah,
anti-gun politics back in the day, so that probably
yeah.
helped a lot of people.
Yeah, and Glock got over on him with that. But yeah, Smith and Wesson was in bed with one of the Cuomos from New York
Yeah,
at one time back in the day. So yeah,
Bastards.
um, and Glock come in and kind of snuck in under them and did some, and it was for self benefit or company benefit for Glock. It's not like they did it for 2A reasons, but it
yeah,
had 2A repercussions, right?
sure.
And so kind of put the kibosh on what Smith and Wesson was working on, thankfully.
Now, Stan up there says Ruger makes a beautiful stainless revolver. So I will say this also, looking forward to see Stan. He'll be at Tulsa this weekend as well, as always, and we'll have to go and get some food as we always do. But Stan will be out there. Um, yeah, I mean, Ruger, they're all good. Now, I got a lot of love in the comments for Beretta and Walther. I couldn't disagree with any of those arguments. People know how I love Beretta. And over the last few years, I have obviously grown to love Walther. So I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't argue those. But you only have 5 spots. And what I was trying to do is what people forget though is HK has a lot of different platforms that they're involved in too. So I try to pick companies that aren't just kind of semi-auto pistols or whatever. That they've got everything. Yes, Walther did the 1911 for Colt and all that. They do have an AR. I think it's a 22 LR AR and all that. But I mean, I wanted to go with the companies that have been around that they're doing multiple platforms. I love Beretta. I love Walther, but they didn't make the list because of certain things. But yeah, I couldn't agree more with people that say they love Beretta and Walther because I love both of them as well.
Freaking you mute
Colt,
button.
huh?
I said the freaking mute button got me.
Oh,
No, I was gonna say you were mentioning HK, and I'm like, oh, I never considered this until just now when you were talking about HK. But
yeah.
I do have HK shotguns,
Mhm.
so I don't think HK's ever dabbled in revolvers that I'm aware of.
At least not in the
Um,
American market. I can't speak for what they're doing in Europe, but
yeah,
probably not. Probably
yeah.
not.
But yeah, HK is one of them things. So I don't know worldwide, but for me, HK is one of them things that it's just not a predominant American brand. You just don't see
Yeah,
HKs anywhere and everywhere on the shelves like you do Smith and Wesson, Ruger, some of these other ones. And let's be honest, you don't see Walthers that way either.
that's
And
right. That's right.
and I say that with all the love in the world because my Walther PPQ might be my favorite semi-automatic center fire handgun.
Yeah. Now, 223 out there says Clover did Ruger buy into Mauser? I don't know. Did they? You might know that. I don't know.
I
Did they
don't
buy into Mauser?
know. I don't know if Ruger owns Mauser or not. That's not the same Mauser, though. I can't tell you that much.
And Mr. Sunshine out there says HK hates civilians. I would tend to agree with that to a certain extent. I'd also tend to agree with that statement maybe with FN, not because they hate civilians, but the vast majority of business that FN does is through military contracts. So they make some great belt fed stuff. Most of the military belt fed stuff is going to be FN. But yeah, it's just one of those that Mr. FNA says, what do I like FN? Yeah, it's a great company. Once again, great company. I only had 5 spots. So it is what it is. Now, I want to say, did you guys hear that Remington? I saw a press release, was it today or yesterday? Remington Firearms. Now that Remington's broken up into about 12 different pieces, Remington Firearms is moving their headquarters from New York, I think, to Georgia, and they're going to be investing $100 million into the company. So it'll be interesting to see what Remington Firearms are coming out, like, pretty soon. That'd be kind of fun to see,
Well, and I wonder, I've got to wonder because, they sucked up the Para brand, Para Ordnance, and then went Para USA and whatever.
Yeah.
And so I've got to think, I don't know the particulars on all of the different companies that were kind of brought in under Remington, and the Remington eventually just phased out. If the company that bought the firearm side of Remington, did they get all of those little companies as well? Was that part of the package, right? And potentially, are we going to see the TAC 9, Para Ordnance and some other stuff? Because I would love a TAC 9, and they haven't made them in years and years.
Yeah, I
or
do.
Or TAC 5, I mean. TAC 5, sorry, the TAC 5.
There were certain divisions of the firearm that were sold. I think like the Marlin were sold separately. But yeah. I don't know. Like, it was such a weird sell and auction and all of that I don't know what particulars of what part of the firearms went where, because like I said, they were spread out over 4 or 5 different buyers,
Yeah, but see, Marlin was still active. Production was still active.
I know that.
Right.
But I'm just saying, right. I don't know what part of the firearms division went where. So I wouldn't be able to tell you.
I don't either.
As of right now, the votes, we had over 1,000 votes on this one. And it's going to piss off a lot of people, but coming in first place with 28% was Glock. Smith & Wesson was 25%. SIG was 22%. Ruger 13%, and HK at 12%.
I will say this. That doesn't surprise me, and not for Glock fanboys, but if people are looking at it from the perspective of the company,
yeah,
Glock is amazing in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
As far as a company and them being able to seize and monopolize on certain things, absolutely amazing at that. Being able to play one side against the other and get deals done and snake deals away from other companies, and I mean, phenomenal at that. And let's be honest, without Glock, you don't have the polymer handgun market we've got today.
This is true. And which I love. That's what I am in handguns is. I probably would be a revolver guy. God, it gives me a rash just thinking about that. I'd probably be a revolver guy for Glock. Thank God for Glock, right?
Well, if you read the book Glock, Rise of America's Gun, the entry in there, the boardroom, right, when Glock, Smith & Wesson got sued for basically copying Glock. And it tells a story in there about all these engineers are sitting at a table with the head of Smith & Wesson. And Glock is just cleaning their clock, talking about Smith & Wesson. Yeah. And he's like, guys, how do we build a firearm that can compete? How do we design a firearm that can compete with the Glock? How do we do it? And the engineers said, we can't. And the CEO of Smith & Wesson said, then copy the MFer.
Yeah.
Like exactly. That was the exact word.
If you can't beat them, steal them.
If you can't build it, if we can't build one better, steal the idea. Basically, copy it.
Well, and there's a lot.
That's a direct quote.
There's a lot to be said about the whole Glock perfection, and that's something that people like to bash on. Mm-hmm. Glock's perfection. Well, that's why you have to go and buy aftermarket. You don't have to. You can go buy a lot of aftermarket parts and make it maybe a better feeling gun.
Yeah.
But the whole Glock perfection, what people don't understand, or some people don't understand, is they're not saying it's a perfect gun. It's what they do at guns. They do it. They perfected what they do. There's a reason why they all look the same. There's a reason why they're all going to. You can take 27 Glock 17s take them 100% apart, and just mix up the parts from all 27 guns, pick random parts, put it together, and some bitch is going to fire every single time.
Gonna work.
So what they do with guns, how they make guns, they have perfected it. They're not saying it's a perfect gun. There's no such thing as a perfect gun, but they have perfected how they make guns. And they have, there's a reason why they make guns the way they do, you know?
It also speaks to their Glock perfection, you know, branding, whatever, that, you know, from Gen 1 to now Gen 5, there's very little changes.
Right.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If it wasn't as far as what it is, right, as good as it could possibly be, you would see massive changes from Gen 1 to Gen 5, and you just don't see that.
Right.
So that right there is indicative of, at least in that classification for those particular handguns, they are about as close to perfection as you can get, because you just can't, you know, as innovation changes, right, and manufacturing processes, that's when you start to see changes in minor changes in the model, right?
Sure.
But it's not like the company is thinking up new stuff all the time, right? That's not what drives them. And it doesn't have to. And it doesn't have to.
That being said, whether we want to believe,
I wish they would make some aesthetic changes, because they are just as basic as they come. And I'm not a Glock. I mean, Glock is awesome. They function, you know, flawlessly, but they're just.
See, that's why I like Glock, is they're not trying to be pretty. There's something beautiful about simplicity, you know. To me,
I think
I'll take a Beretta any day.
I think with the ease of CNC technology, with 3D printing, and just the absolute huge aftermarket for Glock, that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
And I don't think you will ever see them do anything, because that market is just too muddy. And you're right. They're such an established company at this point. Worldwide, we have to keep that in mind. Right? Worldwide.
They're not an American company.
They don't have to do anything, right? So
yeah, there's a lot to be said, and we talk about this all the time with Glock, and who knows what's going to happen when old man goes away. But somewhere down the road, there will be an AR. I truly believe there will be an AR, or at least an AR-9 that takes Glock mags. I think that there is a design somewhere in a drawer, and they're just waiting for Gaston to go, because they know that he doesn't want until while he's there. But can you imagine how many Glock AR-9s they would sell the second that they came on? There would be a year waiting time probably, and people would bash it, but they'd buy the shit out of them.
So I hear that Gaston will not even be cold yet, and there will be a Glock lever action rifle. I'm just saying, that's what I hear.
Whatever. Lever action rifles and
I would buy one.
Revolvers. I don't see it. I don't see
Glock
it.
is going to go as soon as Gaston's gone. They're going to go lever action rifle and single action revolver. That's what you're
going to
get.
Go Bud. They're going straight Bud.
Straight Bud, man. Straight.
I would have one. It would be on my list.
Yeah, I guarantee you.
Yep.
Now I want to say up here, let's go, Brandon. By the way, love the name. Let's go. Brandon says he's going to be looking for a Canic this weekend in Tulsa. Probably going to give my G48 to my wife. So I want to say this. Obviously, it's someone that's a normal here, but they changed their name to Let's Go Brandon. Who is it? Because I don't know who they're obviously going to be in Tulsa. I'd like to know who it is. They've got an Alabama Crimson Tide, it looks like, logo maybe.
I bet he'll have a Let's Go Brandon t-shirt on when he's there.
I hope so. I just want to find out who it is. It's someone we know, but they've changed their name, so I don't know who it is. But
you remember last time? Last time we were there, there was a dude walking around with an AFT t-shirt. Remember that?
Yes, he was. There was also a guy walking around that I don't want to speak about. So,
wow, that's true.
Yeah. Donkey Puncher. Okay, it's Donkey Puncher. So Donkey Puncher will be there. Awesome.
I cannot wait to meet the Donkey Puncher.
Yeah. And Screaming Skulls says it's Janik. Actually, it's not.
It's Canic.
The people at Canic call it Canic. So maybe in Turkey it's Janik, but the people who work for the company here in America call it Canic. Do they not, TJ? Because you
They
straight
do.
up asked them.
They do. We talked to the guy.
Yeah.
And we did a little video for Toby because Toby calls it Janik. And he said
Toby's
it is
weird.
pronounced Canik.
Janik,
right.
Canik, Chiappa, Chiappa, Fiocchi, Fiocchi. We know what you're talking about. So who cares?
It's Chiappa.
It's Chiappa.
If
He says, I know
Fiocchi,
this messing.
if Fiocchi is Fiocchi, then Chiappa has to be Chiappa.
Right.
I'm not sure. I think G's trying to go along with the Glock thing still. He says Cheese Pizza made the place that saved pizzas from being illegal. Talk about being bland, normal. Like the Cheese Pizza is the Glock of the world. You may say you want all this stuff, but if you had to have cheese pizza, you eat the hell out of the cheese pizza. If you had to have a Glock, you'd shoot the hell out of the Glock. So yeah.
I have a Glock.
I have some.
I hope to add.
I love them. I
hope to add one in Tulsa. Let's see.
I hope you do too. I hope you add 8. You don't have. Well, you have your 42. I know you're getting closer to a 19. We're going to get closer at 19 eventually, but I think he's looking for a 26. Are you not?
I'm not going to say because I just released a video earlier on the guns I'm looking for, so I'm not going to say. I'm not going to spoiler alert, but
I'm going to look. I'm looking for a lever gun.
Shit, I don't want your shit, Clover. I don't want your shit.
I don't care if you do. I don't care if you do or not. But you know the answer to that question. Though,
I know the answer to that question.
So it's all good. But there is a Glock on that list. Yes, we'll just say that.
Now, Rich is he's being the Debbie Downer, but he's saying Gaston Glock didn't do anything to assist us. He did what he did to line his pockets. If he gave a damn about our gun rights, he'd fight for it in his home country. What has he done there?
No, 100%.
Clover, go for it. I know that you're dying.
No, I said that. No, I said that's exactly what I said earlier. Maybe Rich come in late. But all of the good that Glock has done for the 2A has been ripple effect. They did it for company, corporate, money, whatever reasons. But
by the way, that's what most companies do.
But those right. But thankfully, all of those goals lined up because let's be honest, less restrictions in most situations, less restriction as far as gun laws are concerned means more sales. Correct.
Correct.
Just makes sense, right? It's easier business. So yeah, Rich is spot on with that. But we still don't want to discount, just gloss over all of the things that they did, especially with New York and the Cuomo thing and Smith & Wesson, and all of the different things that they contributed. Yeah, I mean they weren't doing it for the right, quote unquote, right reasons or the noble reasons, sure, but it still had an impact as far as 2A is concerned. Yeah,
for sure. The one thing we have to keep in mind is there's never been a company, a for-profit company, I should say, that has ever started in the history of mankind to sit there and say, we don't care if we make money, we just want to do good. Those are called nonprofits. For-profit companies, if that's their business model, they won't be around very long, much less 30 or 40 years being a headliner in an industry that gets attacked on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. So they may not be out there in front doing a lot of stuff, but they've done enough when they've needed to do. And I would say that for the most part, most companies will do what they can when they need to. Are they going to do it just because they feel like doing 2A stuff? Probably not.
Yep.
Because whether the people want to believe this or not, sales go up when a 2A is under attack. Mm-hmm. From a business model, these companies don't mind when there's anti-gunners attacking because their sales go up. So there is that. And you can hate that if you want, but that's the truth.
Yeah, innovation slows, right? When that happens, because they don't have to, right? They don't have to innovate and tweak models and they don't have to do that when there's a shortage or a craze or a panic buying situation going on. But consistently, here's the thing: those situations cycle. We're not in and have never been in a perpetual state of panic buying, right? And so for a company to stay viable long term, less restriction is optimal for them. So don't think that because it would appear that a company is taking advantage in a panic situation, that they don't have their eye on the ball and they don't understand the repercussions of ill effects, negative effects on 2A related stuff, because a lot of them do. At least, let me back up. A lot of born and raised, grown in the United States companies do. I would venture to say very softly that some of your European manufacturers and things like that, maybe not so much.
G says, I don't need to believe that Gaston cares about me. When anyone to suggest that, his results over the decades is fact. That's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah.
And it's not just Gaston, and people will still remember Smith & Wesson, but Smith & Wesson has done some good things over the years. I mean, there's always manufacturers do good things when they can. People still remember Springfield Armory. I get it. But understand
Ruger.
Also a lot of these people are making decisions, not the companies. The people that run them, CEOs of these gun companies, may not necessarily be gun people, guys. They're CEOs. They know how to get the stocks where they need to be for their stockholders. They play a political role. They understand how the business works, but they may not be in touch with the 2A community because they may not be gun people. They just may be very, very good business people. So don't crucify a company over someone who's leading it, because the rest of the company, I guarantee you, the people that are making your guns care more about guns than the CEOs do. Let's just be real about it. But that's just my opinion.
So
yep.
Calaveras says Glock doesn't innovate anyhow, and that's a total farce. Here's the thing. You're looking at innovation from, it's got a cool new WYSIWYG added to it or whatever. The innovation for Glock comes from the manufacturing and raw material and whatever side of things. The simplicity of design, which affects the bottom line and the cost, which then rolls downhill, and other manufacturers can pick up on that tech, lower the cost of their firearms. New startup manufacturers can pop up because, hey, this way of machining is way cheaper, and now we can build things here in the U.S. in our garage as a company, where we weren't able to do it before. So don't think for a second, as far as the industry as a whole, Glock doesn't have influence in innovation, because they absolutely do. And it's money driven. Again, as we've established, it's money driven. It's not like they care about the industry or 2A, when it boils down to it. But they do contribute to innovation for sure.
That's right. All right. So wow, that went down a rabbit hole. But those are always fun. I love doing the polls because it always get a lot of great comments and all of that. So I enjoy doing the polls. Everyone makes fun of me when I start doing the polls. Now everyone's doing polls. Everyone made fun of me for doing top fives 2 years ago. Now everybody's doing top fives. So you guys can suck it. I enjoy doing the polls. Yeah. I think they're fun, but they are fun because, I mean, it's just one of those things where, you can go post a picture and all that, but the engagement is where it's at. It's fun to talk about what people are thinking. It's fun to see the arguments in the comments. It's fun to see that because everyone's got an opinion, and it's okay to have that opinion.
Yep.
But the topic of the night is Wanamaker, and we've talked about Wanamaker. I went the first time, I don't know, 6 years ago, and just before I was doing YouTube, just enjoy it and all that. Been going since 2017. November 2017 was the first time I went as a media. I don't go every time. They have it twice a year. I go at least once a year. Sometimes I go twice. This year I'll go twice. Clover goes pretty much every time. But TJ, this is his first. TJ is flying in from Florida, and is going to be going to Wanamaker for his first time, which we can't be more excited about. First of all, I get to see you. I haven't seen you in a couple of years, so it's great to see you. But I think that you're going to really – we say this all the time. You're never going to look at a local gun show again the same way when you get done with this. It's awesome. So I want to kind of start with TJ and say, when you decided to go, what was kind of the deciding factor for you to go, and what are you kind of expecting or looking for at Wanamaker?
I was just, I just wanted to go to experience it. I mean, I heard Clover talk about it. I heard you talk about it. We're just trying to, with SHOT being canceled last year, it was like kind of like, well, let's hit all the small, I tried to hit every small event I could. And it's not, I mean, for me, plane tickets are cheap. I mean,
yeah,
I'm flying out there for $45 each way.
That's awesome.
So
That's
it's like,
amazing.
I mean, for me, it's a no-brainer. I can go out there for a couple $100. Me and Crystal, I'm bringing the wife.
You can't go on a road trip for less than that.
Right.
Gas.
I mean, I can't afford diesel to go out there. So I mean, it's like, for a couple $100, we're out there. We're staying at the same place everybody else is, at the La Quinta, and I'm gonna go check it out. I've got everybody's been hitting me up with like, oh, keep an eye on, look for this, look for this, and I'm like, I'm looking for myself. Everybody can kiss my ass.
Right.
I want to see what's going on. There's certain, I want like a cool old like distressed lever action that I can.
Oh, we can find one for you.
I can fix up and yeah, I know. Something I can fix up and modify and just just juice out a little bit, and there might be something cool that I see. So I don't, I just want to go experience it and get some contacts and do the gear report thing. Check it out.
Well, you're going to be able to anything and everything that you could possibly want to find, if you take the time to look for it, is going to be there. Not saying it's going to be the best prices or whatever, but it's going to be available.
That's what I'm worried about. I'm like, well, I want a couple guns I want. I'm like, well, they're probably going to be a couple grand. So,
well, no, there are some great deals, some phenomenal. Clover can talk about the deals that he got just in last April. There are some great deals to be had, but there's also all the high end stuffs there, like Buck, Grandpa, Gun Loving Grandpa out there. He went in April for his first time, and he was looking for a 357 lever action. And we found a bunch, and he finally found one that he wanted, and he thought it was $350. What he didn't realize is that was $35,000. He thought the 2 zeros at the end were the cents. No, that was still part of the price.
No problem.
You can find guns for 150 all the way up to $100,000 guns. There was in 2018, Clover. Remind me if I'm wrong. I think it was April of 2018. There was a guy that had about 10 tables and had his private collection there. And on Saturday afternoon, this big truck, they opened the big bay door and an 18-wheeler backed in. They loaded up this guy's, and it was gone. $1 million. Guy walked up to the booth and said, I'll buy your entire collection for $1 million. Wired it to him right there. And 10 minutes later, it was gone. So that kind of deals happen as well. You can find the $100 Mosin. You can find the $1 million collection.
That's awesome.
There's the guy there, and he's not there every time, but he has got the most awesome snake gun collection that you've ever seen in your life. Literally any year, any model, any variation of a snake gun, he's got it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the great thing is, if you like,
it's going to be awesome because like I said, I go to the gun shows down here, the local ones, and they're small, maybe 100 tables, 150 tables, and it's it's neat, meeting people and stuff like that, but nothing like this. And I'm like, well, it's cheap enough. I am self-employed, so I can do what I want. So I'll zip over there for a couple of days and hopefully find something I want.
Well, you'll find something you want. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's deals to be had. There are deals to be had. Like Clover went with a couple guns he was looking for in April. He walked home with several guns, and none of them were what he was looking for, but he found such good deals that he couldn't pass them up,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that happens. For me, I'm interested because I always go to Wanamaker as far as the gun look. You guys know me. I'm a polymer semi-auto pistol guy and an AR guy. Well, now I'm jumping into the long range stuff. So now I'm going to be expanding my kind of looking to see what's out there for precision stuff, which is going to be fun as hell. Clover and I were talking privately about trying to get Jeff. And I don't think Jeff would make the trip, but there's another side of Wanamaker that I think he would really appreciate. Is downstairs there is a huge corner of surplus. There's surplus stuff everywhere, but there's one guy that has a huge ton of surplus stuff, and that would fit right up Jeff's alley too. But I don't know if we'll ever get Jeff down there or not.
I'll probably go check him out for Jeff. Since I'm
Yeah,
there.
but there is a lot of surplus. As a matter of fact, I'll always call or text G-Webs and say, "Hey, I'm at the surplus store. Do you need anything?" Because I'll buy them and send it to him if he needs them. And he'll say, "Oh, I might need a poncho liner or something like that." But they've got, and like I said, it's not just guns. It's bags, it's ammo, it's T-shirts, it's hats, it's training aids, it's reloading supplies, it's surplus stuff. I mean, anything and everything. It's an 11-acre gun show under one roof. It's unreal.
I might have to get a new pair of shoes to walk that.
You better not wear new shoes because you'll have blisters in 10 minutes. Better have comfortable shoes. And Clover will kind of tell me about this too. But I want to say if you stop at every table in the entire show, I think you can be there for 7 seconds at each table to see.
Man, it's like 13 or something.
Well, it's okay. You're at 13 seconds if you want to stop at every one.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'll probably do what we do in the basement. I'll do the wander through and anything catches my eye or anything I'm looking for. Like, all right, boom, I'm here.
Well, the good thing is we have a table as well, and everyone that kind of comes back, we'll take a break and all that. Hey, anybody see this? Oh yeah, I saw that over there. So everyone's kind of looking at other stuff, and they'll remember if you tell, hey, everybody, if you see this, text me and let me know.
So I know I'm the FUD in the room, and I know a lot of people are new to firearms and compared to me and everything else. But I've got Rob out there, I've got 2A all day, and some others talking about gun shows and being overpriced. I hate to break it to you, but I can remember going to gun shows in my teenage years and people talking about crap being overpriced. So it's never been any different. I can remember going to flea markets and all kinds of other things where the vast majority of stuff, people are complaining that it's overpriced. Part of the fun of going to gun shows, especially this one being the largest gun show in the world, that in and of itself is great. But part of the fun for me with going to gun shows is, yes, the vast majority of it is going to be overpriced, but where are those hidden gems that are on a table somewhere, in a corner, under a box, whatever the case may be, that are not, that are the bargains and the steals and the buys, right? Those are few and far between. If I go to the largest gun show in the world and only buy come home with 2 guns, they're few and far between, but they're out there. And that's part of the fun. It's like a treasure hunt almost. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure everything's negotiable as well.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And remember, just like any other gun show, the sticker price is just the sticker price. It doesn't mean that's the final price.
Yeah. Right. And you've got to put it in perspective too. Here's the thing. If you're going to a gun show, and Ghost, you know this, you walked around with me. If you're going to a gun show and you're the type that you like the poly striker fired semi-autos and you like AR-15s, and that's pretty much it. You don't care about bolt rifles, old school shotguns, old school
talking
22s,
about me. Yeah, exactly.
that sort of stuff, right? Well, you walked around with me. You know what I'm saying. If you're only into that sort of thing, those are the things you're least likely to find a good deal on. Is the problem. By only being into that, as far as the collectability and what you like to shoot and what you like to collect, you restrict yourself at what you're going to find and the value you're going to get from going to a gun show, unfortunately.
Now, Weston out there says Wanamaker is the best $10 you can spend all year. That is true. And Wes will be there. He lives there, so we get to see Wes every year as well. So looking forward to see him as well. It's just one of those things where it's just like any other gun show. It's just 20 times bigger than anything you've ever seen before. And it's one of those things where you go to your local gun show and you're like, okay, you might spend 15, 20 minutes and you've seen it all. And like, okay, everything's overpriced. There's really nothing here that I don't have or that I, want. And then you go to this one, you're like, my local gun show takes up about 1/20th of this space. So, like I said, if you're willing to walk around and look, there's something for everyone there. Whether if you're willing to look and you're willing to look, maybe open your horizons. Okay, I want a Smith & Wesson M&P 15 Sport. Well, you may not find one of those particular ones for a great deal, but if you're willing to look, there's all sorts of ARs. Or you can buy an upper. Well, I've got a lower at home. I can just buy this upper. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. If you open your mind, there's options for everyone.
And so here's a novel idea. how about you go just wanting to soak in the ambiance, even if you're talking about a local show, and what is something cool that you can see there that you've never seen before, right? I'm going to go to this show. Don't go looking for, great deals necessarily, but go and just soak it up. And especially when you're talking about something like Wanamaker, it's so huge. You're going to see stuff there that you will never, ever see again in your entire life. You've
Yep.
never seen it before. You'll never see it again. You'll see stuff you never knew existed while you're there, right? And so
Yep.
we get hung up in because it's a gun show, we're going and we got to buy something or whatever. And I like what Wes has said, just going and walking around in the experience is worth the $10. There was, to put it in perspective, and the vast majority of people could care less about this. Rich is out there and he knows what I'm talking about. But original Colt Walker revolvers, there's like 30 in existence in the world. There's like 30. 15 of those, half of those. 1 year when we was there was at least 15 there, at least at that show. Half of the Colt Walkers in the world were at that show, were under that roof in that building. That was amazing.
And there's no joke because some of us helped move it. It was a big ass Gatling gun. It's a Gatling gun or a cannon. But we're talking like an original Gatling gun was there for sale, and they had to have people help move it out to their trailer when they got done. So some of us got to help move this Gatling gun out to the parking lot. But I mean, we're talking like an 1880 Gatling gun. It was just like, holy cow, this is amazing. Like, when are you going to see that for sale somewhere? You know, you might see it in a museum, but you're not going to go to a gun show and see a Gatling gun for sale. You know,
right? Yeah,
it's cool. And there's all they haven't had the last couple times, but there usually is some sort on the bottom floor, some sort of an exhibit. Sometimes the NRA is there, but they had some really cool. They had about 3 years ago, the NRA was there, the NRA Foundation or someone was there as a traveling exhibit, and it was the guns of World War II, and they had a gun of every country, and that was involved in wars had their guns there. You couldn't buy them; it was just an exhibit. But it's like there's history there too.
Yeah,
it's totally amazing.
The High Standard Collectors Club has been there before. The Smith and Wesson Collectors Club, the Ruger Collectors Club. J.M. Davis even has a booth there, if you remember, from the J.M. Davis Museum. There's many collector type booths that are there, which are, you're right. Those are really freaking cool.
Now, the Finstad says that maybe Snub will find a good deal on their Altor. Rumor has it that they're giving away Altors to anyone that shows up. Just saying.
Right. Right.
I can guarantee it might be a glue gun. I'm not real sure. One of the two.
I can guarantee you there is a Smith and Wesson of some sort that Snob is going to be looking for. I can promise you.
He always is. He's always looking for at least a couple different Smiths, and he's always looking for a good Kimber. I don't know if he almost found the Kimber in April, I believe, but then he didn't get it. But he's always looking for a Kimber. I think it's for Stacy though. But I mean, everyone goes like Clover. Clover went to Wanamaker in April looking for a couple different Marlins to finish out his collection. Well, he walked away with several guns, but none of them were Marlins. So I mean, like I said, if you're opening your eyes to good deals, you never know what you're going to find that you're not even going there looking for. Like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen one of those in years. That's a hell of a price, you know.
And that Stevens
for the ambiance. That's pretty much it. I'm going to go for the experience.
Yeah.
So if you remember the Stevens that I picked up, I found it literally like less than an hour before the show closed on Sunday.
Yeah, that's true.
So I walked around that entire show. I never did see anything else, and walked by a table, and I'm like, oh, it caught my eye. Just because of what it was and how good it looked, right? It was all shiny and stuff, which that's going to catch my eye real quick. But I was like, whoa, you don't see those in that good of shape, you know? And walked over there, picked it up, and, chatted the guy and threw him an offer. He took it, and,
there was one that you threw an offer, but he said a comeback later. He wasn't sure about. Was that? I can't remember which one that was. He went back like an hour and a half later. He says, all right, let's do it. I can't remember which one that was.
No, I had to do paperwork on that sucker.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, that had to do. This guy was an FFL, And I'm used to here in Texas having the LTC. I'm used to walking in, paying down the money, filling out the paperwork, walking out, right? And because it was Oklahoma, they don't accept the Texas LTC to bypass the NICS. And of course, there was a line of people wrapped around the booth 15 times waiting to check out, right? And stuff. And so I gave him my info, and he was going to run the check, and he just said, come back later and pick it up. So I paid for it. I gave him my info. Obviously, he had my LTC. He knew I was going to be good and all that. And he's like, well, not a big deal. We'll finish it out and just come back, stop back by later. We'll put your name on it. Not a big deal. And I had to go back and pick it up because of that. Yeah. No, I did not even argue the price on that one. That's what was crazy on that one. That was that Winchester 121Y. And I don't even remember. It was marked like 120 or something. And I'm like, holy crap. And it looked brand new. It looked like nobody had even worked the action on it. It was crazy. And I called the kid over there because I thought maybe it was a buck situation, right? I thought maybe somebody put a decimal instead of a comma or something.
That's a 12,000 instead of 120.
Yeah. And I was like, is this right? And he's like, yeah, that's what it says. I was like, it says 120. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I want it. That's simple. I didn't even argue on that one.
Now, I will say this, Buck was looking at $35,000 rifle. From what I understand from Buck is he has cleaned up all of his credit cards and be willing to spend the $35,000 on that lever action that's still there.
There you
go.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many. I mean, like I said, you can look all day and you'll find some good deals. But the cool thing about it is you can literally go to Wanamaker, not buy a damn thing for 2 days, and have the time of your life just looking at some stuff. Like Rich said, he's never seen a Colt Walker in the wild before. He's only seen them in museums. You go to Wanamaker, you'll see them. You'll see stuff that you've never seen before for sale.
Literally get to hold it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the cool thing. It's a gun show. They're not saying don't touch my guns. They're for sale. You better touch it if you're going to buy it. You gotta ask them, but still, they're not going to sit there and say, if they don't want you to touch it, they're going to put them in glass. And a lot of people do have stuff in glass. Yeah. But that's about it,
Yeah. So, one thing when we were talking about the Collectors Club, Rock Island Auctions is someone that is there pretty regularly set up. And you want to talk about some uber rare, really cool, belong to some famous people guns that they have on display. They got some pretty crazy stuff Rock Island Auction does. And it's all behind glass. I mean, you can't pick it up, you can't play with it, but it's, well, you know what? You probably could if you did if you did ask them and being media and you did some type of interview or something like that, they potentially would take it out and talk about it, right? So you could. I tried to do that once before. I've never spent any time with them. First of all, the audio is really bad there. You really got to have, really decent mics and some other stuff.
It's just like the audio in the dungeon at SHOT. If you're used to that, TJ, you're going to be fine at Wanamaker.
Yeah, it's a big open room, thousands of people walking around, metal building. They were so busy that I never could squirrel one of them away. You know what I'm saying? Pull one of them away for long enough to do it. They were open to it. They just, as soon as I would walk up, and he's like, and somebody else would walk up, and that was business. And I didn't want to, that's one thing about this type of show when you're going as media. You don't want to interfere with them making a sale and the business aspect of it at all.
Yeah, the one thing that you will, it's having gone to SHOT Show for so many years, the logistics of working the show, you're going to be fine with. The difference is until 2017, they'd never had media at this place. And we're still the only ones they issue media passes. So most people aren't still used to having media taking pictures and video. So it's one of those things, hey, you mind if I take cool pictures of this gun? I'm media and all that. That'd be fine. But it's not like SHOT where you can just walk up and take pictures and videos. Still ask them, because some people will say, yeah, but don't get me in the picture or whatever. It's still a strange little thing because, at gun shows, they don't like cameras there. this is the largest gun show in the world, and they're still getting used to of having us there. Because there are some people that this will be their first time as a vendor. So they're not going to be used to having cameras around either. So it's one of those things where it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a good segue, I guess, in a way, to bring up and kind of talk about Rod, and then talk about, as a creator, I think, some of the relationships and some of the companies that are there. Now, it's a gun show. So as far as companies go, from a creator standpoint, there's not a lot of that. There's no beating around the bush on that. Is it a good proving ground for a creator that wants to go to a SHOT or an NRA or something like that and maybe is a little bit hesitant on it? Yes, it's a great proving ground to get you in the mindset of dealing with crowds and dealing with aisles and dealing with noise and all these other things going on, right? But as far as the amount of businesses, manufacturers, things like that there's not a whole lot, considering how much stuff is there.
They're smaller. They're smaller companies, the regional companies, the Glocks, the big dogs aren't there, but you'll have like Fort Scott Munitions. You'll have a ton of like smaller up and coming holster companies, ammo companies, AR. You'll have like Durkin. Was it Durkin? What are they called? Is it Durkin?
Durkin Tactical. Yeah.
They're going to be
a lot of the smaller ones are the ones that need the press.
That's exactly right.
Right. Like that.
This is for most of these. You know, there's a lot of these individual collections. There's a lot of these gun shops that will bring their stuff, but there are companies there, and for them, this is their SHOT show because they can't afford to go to SHOT.
Oh yeah.
So there are companies there that want to do. I mean, you know, Clover's got some people that sponsor a lot of his stuff through
the show
through Wanamaker.
That's sort of what I was going with. That is, but some of the relationships you can make there are lasting, awesome relationships. So,
they have some really cool like steel target companies, and like I said, these are regional guys that are trying to make their mark. That for them, this is the show of the year for them. This is where they make their year, is at Wanamaker. So they are going to be looking for getting some help. And having Gear Report there, I mean, sure, Clover and I are there as us, but we're also we also write for Gear Report. But you being there with Gear Report, having the Gear Report stuff on, there is some of these companies that were like, holy cow, this would be a great write-up for us. So, I mean, there are going to be a lot of opportunities, but I don't want you going there thinking it's the dungeon of SHOT Show. It's still, the companies are smaller than the dungeon people,
I mean, it's a lot of, it's like my local countries. I mean, I know like any of the guys who are there. I mean, any of the manufacturers and stuff. I already know them who are there.
Exactly.
So I've already
like Black Rain's always there because they're from Missouri, so they're always there. Fort Scott.
So I've already dealt with them, and I know how they are and stuff like that. So it's like I just want to go. Like I said, I want to go check it out. If I find something cool, maybe I'll get it. I'm bringing a couple stacks.
So there are companies. There are a few companies, and that's sort of what I was speaking to earlier. There are a few companies that you do see at SHOT Show in the dungeon that are there.
Yeah. But for most of it, this is their biggest thing of the year is Wanamaker. And that's cool because they bring out you'll see all sorts of med kits. You'll see there's tables and tables and tables. And Clover and I are the first one to admit I still have them, that I still use them. There are companies that do backpacks that you can find any size, of any kind, of any shape, of any whatever, backpacks or bags. There's everything there. And these are the companies that can't afford to do. This is the biggest thing they do all year. And so there is business to be done. It's just going to be one of those things where they're more regional companies.
Right.
But with our help, we don't know. Maybe these companies do turn into something bigger, and they realize that.
Well, it's a bigger deal. So, for example, let's talk about the steel target company and the paper target company, right? That I met at Wanamaker that I've worked with for years now, and my Patreon patron people out there, they know all too well who they are because they give away prizes every month. But so the thing is, those are small local business. One of them is based out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. The other out of the DFW area. The steel targets in Broken Arrow, and then the paper targets in the DFW area. So they go around to different shows and they work the internet. They work their website, right? It's web sales, right?
Yep.
Well, unlike big, huge companies at a SHOT Show or an NRA, right? If I can generate 1 target sold a month or 2 targets sold a month, that's huge for them, right?
Yep. Exactly.
That's a huge thing for them. They're not looking for me for somebody that necessarily can sell thousands of targets a month for them. Like some
they're
of the
not
people
looking
at SHOT Show.
they're not working with distributors. They're working to the actual buyer, where the big companies, they sell to distributors,
Yeah, direct to consumer. And we as influencers, as creators, as whatever you want to call it, we're able to generate more for them because of the fact that it's direct to consumer. So when we send somebody to them, they sell that, as opposed to like, pimping out Glocks or something, right? Well, ultimately you're helping Glock, but that's got to go through a distributor, to a dealer, to a this, to a that, to a this. It's a real muddy, murky process where they see direct benefit from working with folks like us too, which is really cool.
Yep. And Stan's a good friend of ours, and we get to see Stan a couple times a year. He's there at Wanamaker all the time. He has a gun shop, and he's coming to Wanamaker from Nebraska to sell stuff, and he's not going through a distributor. He is the retail guy, but he's going to sell some of the stuff he has, and he's looking for guns to buy also to supply his shops. I mean, the cool thing is what most people don't get to see, and I've seen it once. Clover's seen it a few more times than I have. I think I saw it the very first time we went. Is we happened to be able to go there on a Friday while they were setting up.
Yeah,
Wanamaker behind the scenes is crazy on Friday because that's when the dealers are setting up, but that's when the dealers and the vendors do their own business with each other before the public gets there. And it's nuts. It's nuts, Yep. And
now, go ahead.
I was going to say that Rod and Shelly are going to be there with Aegis Gun Care. They're going to have a booth and all that.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons, they want to sell their stuff. They want to sell their stuff to the public and all that. But one of the biggest things is they're going to be able to get there Friday and hopefully talk to some of these gun shops from around the country and say, hey, would y'all be interested in selling our product in your gun shop? And that's more beneficial than selling to the consumer at Wanamaker. Yes, they want to get their product out there, but the availability of having all of these different gun shops from around the country, because there's if you look at the parking lot, there's going to be a car from every freaking state, including Alaska, at this gun show. And so there's opportunities to get in front of dealers and gun shops around the country for someone like a gun cleaning company to say, hey, would you be interested in doing a deal with our gun cleaning gear? So there's that side of the business side of Wanamaker also. So it's awesome. The whole dynamic is really crazy. It's really fun. It really is. It's a bucket list place for sure.
So I want to back up a second, if it's okay, and kind of give a pro tip. I'm sure you will agree with this. But with Stan out there, SS Pawn, he was talking about his relationship, of course, with Travis P11. If you're out there, you're an aspiring creator and all this stuff. Having a relationship with a dealer, with an FFL, with a local gun shop, or even multiples, you cannot even begin to imagine how awesome that is. I'm lucky enough that I have that with a few. So I can only imagine the relationship that Stan has with Travis P11 and vice versa. But it's very beneficial to both you and those shops. If you're doing content and stuff, make friends with your local gun shops. Let them know what you can help them out and what you can do for them. I know I have free reign. I'm usually so busy doing stuff for companies nowadays that I don't really have time to do it. But anything used that comes in my local gun shop, I can go up there, pick it up, bring it home, do a video. They do not care. I mean, I'm literally basically on the payroll for them.
Well, I'll tell you another example. I'll tell you another example with Stan, just in Stan in general. Stan's got a gun shop in Nebraska. I live in Arkansas. Now, I have great friendships with a lot of the gun shops around here. But last April, I was looking for a couple different pistols in particular. And I found a couple at Wanamaker, but they were just overpriced, honestly. We then went to dinner Saturday night to the steakhouse, and Stan went with us. And he's like, I think I might have one in the shop. Let me call you. when I get back to my shop on Monday. He sent me a text. He said, I've got it. Here's the price. I give him my credit card, and he mailed to my FFL. This is a gun shop in Nebraska I do business with because he's a good guy and he's got the inventory. So like I said, it's not just the gun shops around your area. If you go to Wanamaker and you meet and you see someone, I can do business with Stan anytime I want just by calling or sending him a text. Hey, Stan, do you have this in stock? If you so, what's your price on it? And Stan's going to be very, very fair. Like, perfect. Send it to me. I mean, so it's just one of those things where it's the networking, which is really cool. And ultimately, it comes down to keeping, and G-Webs has been like this for decades. Keeping local gun shops afloat is really where it's at because they're in the trenches of this war. So meeting people like Stan, who's willing to help out as much as he can, it's a business. He's got to make money, but he's also going to be very, very fair. He can still make money and not screw you. And that's when you've got a good friend is someone that will say, hey, here's the price. It's a fair price. And he'll send it to you. It was like, do it. So, and I'm just using an example. Stan, there's 100 of those. Yeah. You'll be able to meet. There'll be gun shops that you go to Wanamaker. There'll be gun shops within an hour of your home that you've never heard of that will probably be there. Well, you might meet some of those and start a relationship with those gun shops that are an hour from you instead of 20 minutes from you. They're beneficial, man. These people they're the salt of the earth, man. I'm telling you, gun shop people, if you've never been to a gun shop before ever, I'm sure everyone is listening to this has. People talk about coffee shops and old guys hanging around coffee shops having a good time. Go to a gun shop. Some of the most interesting conversations you'll ever hear in your life are drinking coffee at a gun shop. They're great.
So Rob out there is making a good point. He said things don't seem to work that way in New York. And yes, with silly state regulations, which thankfully most states don't have all of that. Yeah, I can see it. I can definitely see it being problematic. However, I do think that there's potential. There's still in that capacity. I do think there could be potential workarounds. Maybe, because you're talking about, he says it has to be on his permit. Well, if you're an employee of that FFL, does it have to be? And does that FFL have a range? And could you potentially just go there and take the used firearms? Obviously, they wouldn't want you shooting a brand new firearm because that then makes it a used one. But, could you then take the used firearms into the range area, be an agreement to be able to do something and at least get B-roll or something, right, with that firearm and then do, a tabletop review, stand in front of the camera and talk about the other aspects, but you've got at least B-roll with a range. I think there's still even that totally admitting and saying that Rob is spot on that certain regulations do create a hindrance, but I still think there could be some room to work there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well,
most gun shops are pretty cool. I mean, especially if you frequent them a lot. I mean, I guarantee I can go down to my local place, Beachside Pawn, and pick up any gun and be like, hey, let's do some B-roll and this and that. And they'd be like, all right, cool, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the great thing. I get this comment and emails and comments on videos all the time, especially when I talk about, hey, turn on the camera, be part of the, the solution and all that. A lot of people email me or comment in videos saying, I only have 2 or 3 guns. I don't have a whole lot of guns to do content with. Go to your local gun shop, tell them what you're doing, and say, hey, maybe we can work out a deal where once a month I come in, do a video on 2 or 3 of your guns and spotlight, hey, deals of the month at so-and-so gun and pawn. Yep. You're getting, but you're also getting, if they have 100 guns in there, there's 100 videos that you could do. You don't have to own the guns to do a review on them. Right. You don't have to own a gun to do a tabletop review or whatever. You just have to be able to go and ask them, say, hey, can I handle one of these? Just do a couple of pictures and a quick video on them. I'll mention your gun shop. It helps them out, and you're getting content as well. Real quick, hey, I appreciate it. The mandatory carry says never going to be on time. You never are, brother, but it's okay. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I really do appreciate you very much. But yeah, that's the great thing about gun shops is you can help promote your local gun shop, and if you talk to them about it, get some really cool. Like for me, I'm not going to own lever actions and shotguns out the wazoo, but I go into my local gun shop, but there's some sweet rifles in there, sweet shotguns that I would never own. But I was like, damn, that's a $12,000 shotgun. Can I do a video on that? So that's cool as hell,
Yeah. So two things. one is that when you're, when you talk about promotion, you got to be careful with the monetization side of YouTube. So, the workaround for
If
that
you're just
is,
starting out, though,
well,
you're not worried about
here's the
monetization.
so you're really not. If you're not monetized
Right.
already, it's not going to matter. But let's say you are. Okay, let's go into that premise for a second. So here's the thing: if as long as you've got their logo, their signage, something behind you while you're at that shop talking about it, anybody watching your video from that area probably is going to recognize that, right?
Yep.
So anybody that's likely going to buy that anyway is probably going to realize, hey, oh, that's here in my town or whatever, right? So film inside that location. And this is the other thing. If it's a situation where you live in an area that's got crazy laws and rules and regulations, just do your filming, make a deal, and do your filming there at the shop.
I've done it before.
Stand behind the
shot
counter.
guns. I stand behind the counter, and they
Yeah.
kind of roped off a spot for me. And
Yeah.
and here the thing about it is cool is people were coming in and out of the shop, and they're kind of, what's going on over there?
Yep.
And for them to it sounds crazy, but for them to have a quote unquote gun tuber, YouTuber in their shop doing a video, that brings kind of some cool stuff for them as well,
Yep. Yeah, so yeah, just do it there in house, cut a deal with them, do it there in house. You can do a lot of different things. You can talk about, when that was produced, when that firearm was produced, what all types of things are available as far as options, what options that has on it, the capacity, the calibers, you can get out a 4 minute or so video, just holding a gun and talking about it and taking some B-roll pictures and stuff like that.
Well, and especially for someone that's like, hey, I only own like 2 guns, so I don't have enough guns to really start doing content. We talk about that premise. Go to the gun shop. You have an unlimited supply of firearms. Sit there and say, man, this is a gun that I've been looking at. Maybe I will buy this. And this is my local gun shop. Let me tell you about this gun. It's just one of those things where you've got an unlimited supply of gun videos that you can do, and you're helping that local gun shop more importantly. So having a good relationship with your local gun shop works on so many levels. So many levels. And Rich is right. Eric over there, he started filming the guns in his pawn shop, but he worked at the time. That's exactly right. He worked at a pawn shop, and that's how he started doing it. Now he's Iraq Veteran 8888. I mean, everyone knows Eric, but he started doing stuff at his local gun shop. I've done several videos, literally standing behind the counter at the gun shop. And what's so funny is after I started making videos there, like as soon as my video was done, people come by and say, hey, so you think that's a pretty good gun? Yes, it's a great gun. And people have bought that gun after me doing a video just by watching me do a video. So you're helping them create sales. Well, if this guy's talking about it, they must be pretty good. I'm not saying it is, but that does happen. So they appreciate that as well. And if you do that, then you never know what kind of deals you start working out with your local gun shop, where they might waive the transfer fees. They might do this, that, and the other. Like Clover, they might, if they have a gun come in that they think Clover might like, they're calling him before they put it on the floor. Why? Because he does a lot for them.
You usually get if you do enough business with them and promote them a little bit, they'll give you the like, hey, look what just came in.
Yep, the heads
up.
Some
pictures. You're like, all right, put it in the back for me. I'll come.
Exactly. Before it even hits the floor, they're calling you before they do anything.
I don't pay transfers, which is great. When you're getting stuff in for T&E and whatever, anything that needs to go out for giveaway or anything like that, they handle it. And I've even got a line of credit. I don't abuse it, but I can literally walk in and not even pay for the thing and go, I want this, and they're like, okay, and fill out the paperwork and walk out without paying one red penny. And just pay $20 the next week, 50, 20, 100 the next week, whatever, until it's paid for. And as long as I finish paying for it, they don't care. Basically, before I get another one, obviously.
Right. Now, Rob does have a good point. He says people don't like cameras in their stores around here, and that's going to happen everywhere. There's going to be gun shops that don't like cameras. So, but that's part of knowing them, saying, "Hey, here's what I'm trying to do. Is this something you'd be interested in?" If they say no, don't try to talk them into it. Say, "Hey, cool, no problem." But if you tell them what you're trying to do and say this could benefit you as well, it's free advertising for them.
Yeah, it's one of them things when you get into the whole creator thing enough. You've got to be able to sell yourself, and you've got to be able to sell people on, the idea, the benefits of working with you particularly, not any creator, but you particularly. And so that's that's a whole separate thing when you start trying to sell yourself. Some people are good at that. Some people are not. And I don't know, I don't know the code to, easy button to make that happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, G23, or it was Guns and Barbecue. Guns and Barbecue mentioned earlier. He said that he has a relationship with his gun shop, and they have become sponsors of his channel. And it's one of those things where we know Stan and SS Pawn and his relationship with Travis P11. But yeah, I mean, there's just something about it's once again, it's we talk. A lot of people talk, especially down here in the South. We talk about shopping local, help out the local economy, especially in small towns like I live in. It's just one of those things where gun shops are still very, very important to the fabric of who we are as a country. And why not help them out? Because they might help you out. But even if they don't help you out with free transfers or whatever, there's still something to be said about helping out a local gun shop. And more importantly, even if they don't give you free transfers, they might sit there and say, hey, guys, I am looking for this gun. If one comes into the shop, call me before you put it on the shelf. And if worst case scenario they do that, you've made a friend,
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of them stacked up like that for some reason. They're like, "Hey, look what just came in. Put it in the back. Look what just came in.
Yeah.
Put it in the back. Look what just came in. Put it in the back." And finally, I was like, "All right, guys, listen."
It's like, okay, do you do layaway? Because I don't have enough to buy 12 guns right now.
They do. That's the problem. They do free layaway. That's the problem.
There you go.
I've had guns in there for 2 years. I've had on layaway, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got some gorgeous guns. I got a Browning Bar 2 Safari Edition, gorgeous in 300 Win Mag. Really expensive, but it's back there. I'll get it one day.
So they're talking about Eric in the gun shop and all of that. He's from what he and Barry did the videos, and Barry's not his dad. True, but I will say this: rest in peace, Barry. By the way, but we saw Barry. We saw his doppelganger at Wanamaker a couple of years ago. I swear to God, it was Eric. I mean, it was Barry. We're like, dude, that is Barry if I've ever seen him and ever before. It was hilarious. Like everyone stopped and like, whoa, that's Barry.
Yeah, that's right. He's back from the dead.
Back from the dead. But yeah. Is there anything right now that we haven't talked about, Clover, about Wanamaker that we should? Obviously, next week we're going to try to get together and kind of do a debriefing of what we saw, what we bought, what happened. But going into Wanamaker, is there any questions you have, first of all, TJ?
I heard it's going to be cold, so apparently I need to dress.
And the high is going to be about 55. It's cold in Tulsa, not because of temperature. The wind has nothing to stop it in Tulsa. It's going to be around freezing at night, 55 for the high. Bring it, especially for you. Bring several jackets. You can't wear flip-flops and t-shirt and shorts, I don't think, unless you really want to freeze.
Hawaiian shirt and flip-flops, huh? All right.
You can, but you're going to freeze. I don't want to hear you complaining.
I won't complain. I'll just drink more. It's fun.
There you go. And you'll have to stop. There's just something you got to do. You're gonna have to buy the $10 Philly cheese. The cheesesteak is it's a $10, but it is the best cheesesteak you're ever gonna.
That's what I'm
so aside from Philly, it's the best cheesesteak I've ever had.
You got to tell me what to get, so I know where the hot spots and the hot food.
So you are good with pretty much any of the food you get there. It's pricey, but I don't think I've ever eaten anything this bad. At the gun show, not in Tulsa. No, definitely not. But yeah, it's any of the food there is outstanding. They have their own food vendors. It's not like local gun shows where maybe the 4-H or the FFA run the.
No, this is legit food.
These are like legit little restaurants set up. So, no matter. I mean, I've got the Frito pie, whatever, all the way up. I have never got the Philly cheesesteak, but I do plan on doing that.
It sounds good. I really want one right now.
I get one every day, and I do it every time I'm there, and that's part of the staple. I know I'm going to have a cheesesteak every day. That's just the way it is.
So
I budget $20 a weekend for my cheesesteak.
Yeah. So plan on spending the whole day there.
All right.
And plan and budget on if you don't put some food or snacks in your backpack or something. Budget for having that for your food.
No, I don't.
The
I don't.
great
I'm
thing
not,
is we
I'm
have a
not,
table.
I don't,
We
I'm
have a
not like Jeff.
table.
I will buy food there. I like to experience everything. I will buy breakfast.
Yeah.
I will buy lunch. I will
The
buy
great
dinner.
thing is we have a table there also. They give us a table for doing media. So there is a place to stage your backpacks, your jackets, your gear. So you don't have to carry and lug that everywhere you go if you don't want. So that does help.
I'm gonna go buy a jacket here in the next couple days, and then
I
don't have a jacket. It's Florida.
You can buy one there. Jackets. I'm serious. You can buy a nice surplus jacket there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like $5.
Yeah,
but I have to get there first.
Yes,
this is true.
It's gonna be cold for a little bit there.
That's true.
Little bit. Yeah.
All right, I might wait. Never mind. I might wait.
I would say
you got a Gear Report hoodie or something. Just wear the hoodie until you get a jacket.
Come on now.
That's right. Jeff doesn't do hoodies.
That's all we got. That's it.
Right.
I've got a patch.
And you're lucky you have that.
Yeah, it's hard to get a patch.
Tell me about it.
So for media or anybody else going, I say get there early for the purposes of parking. The earlier you can get there, the better. Otherwise, you will be way, way far away having to park, which sucks if you're doing media and you need to go back and forth to the vehicle for some reason. Also, the line to get in, if we're talking about general public and you're just going to go attend in that capacity, which there may be people out there who wants to, and that's great, and I encourage it. Be prepared to stand in a line to get through the front door, for sure.
A long line.
Yeah, you're going to spend an hour, I would say, in line. So just be prepared for that.
After parking a half a mile away if you get there too late.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna hop in somebody's truck or car in the trunk. Just hop.
You're not gonna have to worry about vehicles. That's for sure.
I guess everybody's gonna be there, huh?
Yeah.
So my wife, if we end up getting there too late, she has threw me out on the curb before because I got my gear and stuff, and then she went and parked and then walked. You know what I'm saying? And then I didn't have to tote the gear all the way up or whatever.
Let's be honest. He made her do that. Let's just be real.
Do it. She offered to do that. So I mean, that is a perk of having multiple people, in a vehicle and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you can park closer, it's better. Especially if you're like me. I usually keep snacks in the car and drinks, and I've got my smokes and my other things. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Looking forward to seeing you again as well. Looking forward to just being at Wanamaker. Buck says, I hope they don't run out of cheese. This is true. Last year in April.
What?
This year in April. So it was so funny because we were out smoking, and this was Saturday afternoon, and we were talking to the cheesesteak guy. They had to close down at like 3:00 on Saturday. They literally ran out of cheese. They were selling so many of them that they ran out of. You can't sell a cheesesteak without cheese. So the next day they brought double the cheese and sold all of it too. But it's just one of those things where, when you get that many people and the rumors start going around, these cheesesteaks are pretty good. They ran out of cheese because they weren't expecting to sell that many, and they were selling a ton of them.
And you're talking about a show that had never had a it had been consecutive forever. And then cough hits, and they missed an entire year or two in a row. So attendance was up there for sure.
Yeah, and the good thing is this is my opinion. I think Clover will agree with me. Of the two shows, the November show is in my opinion, the better of the two. April's fun and all that, but November it's got a better vibe. People are buying and getting ready for Christmas, and the hunters are out. I mean, it's the November show, I think, is better than the April. They're both great, but I'm glad you're coming to your first one in November because my first one, media was November, and it was crazy good,
Yeah. November is more, to me, April is more personal collection heavy, and November has more dealers, manufacturers, business type stuff there.
Yeah, now this is true. The real reason why I'm going is because Sarge is going to be there. So I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. I'm going to see Sarge. So
and Gizzard.
And I see Gizzard. Yeah, Gizzard. Sarge doesn't come to all of them. He lives on the East Coast, so he doesn't come to all of them. So, but now that I heard that he's coming, that's the real reason why I'm going. Let's just be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I figured out how to book the pick my seat, so I got the extra leg room. I get the exit row on my.
Exit row or the bulkhead row. Either one are great.
It is going to be.
I personally like the bulkhead. If you can get the bulkhead, that's the way to go. You put your feet up on the wall. It's great.
Yeah, it's weird. It's got like the end seat, and then it has like a single row, and then I'm right behind the single row right by an exit. I'm like, oh, give me that.
I have a big problem flying because I have such long legs, so I need the bulkhead and exit rows.
I know.
You so much you don't because you're not that tall, but me being a giant that I am,
like a little kid.
Yeah, you're only about a foot taller, literally almost a foot taller than I am. Yeah. Everyone's a foot taller than I am, so it's all good.
I'm not.
No, you're not. Thank God. That's why I love you and Gizzard, man. You guys make me feel tall. If it's only an inch, I still feel like a giant around you guys.
Well, I feel bad. I'm gonna ruin everything then when I show up.
No. Well, you're gonna ruin, but not for that reason.
I'll ruin it for other reasons. I'll get it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this has been fun. I'm gonna give everybody a few times. Jeff's not here, so I'm assuming you might want to, but go ahead and plug anything that you guys are working on with Gear Report. I know you got the show coming up on Thursday. Are you going to do the show Thursday, or are you going to be getting ready to pack and all that?
We're gonna do the This Week at Gear Report on Thursday at 9. So we're gonna keep it. I'm not leaving until Friday morning, and I leave 3, so I'll be all right. I won't drink as many beers that time. So
now Buck says you might have to ride the horse. I think that might be a possibility. But it is coming up on Clover's birthday, so we might have to get TJ and Clover on the horse this year. And we won't tell you what that is until it gets there, TJ.
That's fine. Listen, have at it. I'm
the same way. I had to ride it in April, and I had a blast.
I've got cigars coming. I've got my Speedo. I'm ready to go.
Be about a week away. Be about a week away from me, something like that.
Oh, hold on here. So Rod must have found some cell service. What's up, my man?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. How about you? Can you hear us okay? Uh-oh, I hear feedback.
I don't know if I can do this much. I can't really hear you guys. I'm trying to do this on my phone in a motel room.
No, I hear you. We hear you just fine. Can you hear me enough to answer one question before we get out of here? I want you to kind of give us what your expectations. What you're going to? Are you going to Wanamaker to sell your stuff, or to find maybe gun shops to do deals with, or all of the above? Are you going to Wanamaker to sell your stuff, or find maybe gun shops to do deals with, or all of the above?
Oh, mainly just like to sell our stuff and brand awareness. Just get our brand out there.
Well, you're going to have about 20 to 25,000 people a day that you're going to be able to get your stuff in front of. So I think you'll have a good time. And I'm looking forward to seeing you and Shelly as well. I know she's put you on the road and she's flying in. That's how it should be. But how's the road trip going so far? Shelly as well. I know she's put you on the road and she's flying in. That's how it should be. But how's the road trip going so far?
Oh, not bad at all. Just because I got to Cheyenne, stay here for the night, and then I'll continue on tomorrow. Not a bad drive.
Awesome. Real quick before we get out here, Rod, do you want to tell people maybe that don't know? I think pretty much everyone here knows about Aegis Gun Care, but real quick, people are listening to podcasts and watch replay. Kind of tell people who you are, what you guys do.
Oh, awesome! I can hear you really good now. All of a sudden, it just turned on.
Nice. How about that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Real quick, our company is Aegis Gun Care. We're a Idaho-based company now. We make lubes and solvents, gun cleaning kits, but everything's built around our lube and solvent, which I'm just a tad bit biased, but I think it's some of the best on the market. So, and if someone needs to back me up, my wife will tell you it's some of the best on the market too.
And I'll tell you, and Clover will tell you, there's a bunch of people that actually use the stuff that will tell you as well. I use her stuff not because Rod's a friend of mine. I was using his stuff when we first met that we barely even knew each other. We tested it out at Terry's, and the stuff is amazing. I love what you guys are doing right now. I'm assuming you're going to have a bunch of them at Wanamaker, but You want to tell people about the field kit, which I think is one of the best things you guys do, but it's not what a lot of gun cleaning companies do. The field kit is something I think it could change what you guys are doing.
No, I'm glad to hear you say that, because the funny thing about that field kit is I made that for me as a consumer. I mean, I own a company and all, but I'm a shooter. I'm a consumer. And I was looking for something small with just the basics. You know, we can all go out and we probably all bought them. Those big old huge gun cleaning kits for $100, $150. They have everything under the sun and they're awesome. But you don't use half that shit and you lose most of it in a month or two. And
This is true.
You can't take it hunting with you. You can't take it on the range. So I wanted something I could do that. So I found those little, since I'm in a motel room, it's all still packed in the truck, but just got those little packs, zipper to open up with Molly on them. I can get 2 of them available, advanced handgun one or just a field cleaning one. And it's all there on a Molly bag. You can put your own patch on it if you want, or our patch or whatever. And I just think they're really cool. And we've had them on for, we started this new business with, well, I debuted it on your show, on this show, 3 months ago?
Yep, something like that, yeah.
And we've been selling the kits for about 2 months. And I must say, I'm so thankful for everybody. They've been a hit and people have been so good to us. I'm so happy. And I can't thank people enough. Like today when I was driving out here, I got, and I shared a few of them on my Instagram, some other channels that have tried it and just some of the stuff. I mean, like I told them, and I truly believe it. It's so humbling and honored to some of the kind words we've been getting them once people have got our stuff in their hands. And so it's pretty cool. But
Weston out there, now Wes is he lives in Tulsa, and we get to see him twice a year in Tulsa. He goes there. He said he'll buy something from me, so at least you'll have one sale. So there you go. So it's not a worthless trip, you know.
Well, that'll pay for one meal. So we'll get you one night.
That's right. Two Gun Kitties out there. What's going on? How you doing?
Kind of glad you guys were still on. I got done with doing what I had to do and got in the motel room, and I pulled it up and said, "Oh hell, they're still talking."
Well, I'm glad you found cell service.
Oh, come on now. It's not like we're in the middle of the desert of Africa or something.
I guess there's only a couple cell towers in Wyoming. You know, that's probably around Cheyenne or around Jackson Hole. You know?
I was going to say, I'm in Cheyenne, and they have the big Air Force base here, so they have cell service here.
They have cell service there, yeah. I hear.
Because they used to have all the missile silos used to be around here too.
Yeah. Rich White, who got a cleaning kit from you, he said he loves it. He put the link out there. I appreciate you, Rich.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. But they really have. I mean, to be honest with you, after going from my old company to this one, you start a new company, you expect things to take a while, but I'm blessed and I'm happy. Just things took off faster than we thought, and that's good and it's bad. But now we've run into this whole thing with everybody else is running into. Yeah, supply chain issues.
Yep.
Now I'm dealing with that, but I think I got it figured out. So.
Well, and I hate to break this to you, and you know this more than anybody. This problem's not going away for a while. It's just going to be an ongoing thing until, not to get political, but until other shit happens with who we have in office. Things aren't going to change, but I think that's going to change next year a little bit.
The funny thing about it, some of the stupid little crap, it's like our lube bottles, just the cap, that goes on our lube bottle that you can squirt the stuff out. That little cap, that's killing me.
Yeah.
Can't get the damn things. So, oh well. But I'm not alone. I can't complain. Everybody else is having problems too.
All right. So we've got another cherry to pop. So not only TJ's making his first trip to Wanamaker, Rod, you and Shelly are making your first trip to Wanamaker.
This is the third one we've signed up for, though. But the first one,
I understand. You've been trying to go for a while. But Two Gun Kitty says, going to my first Wanamaker gun show this weekend. So you better stop by and say hi and go check out Aegis. We'll make sure that we're going to do plenty of stuff. Be watching. I'm not going to be doing a lot of YouTube stuff live from the gun show. First of all, there's terrible service there. The Wi-Fi is terrible there. But if you want to follow my stuff, and I'm sure Clover and TJ will tell you the same thing, follow my Instagram. I'll be posting a lot of stuff on Instagram of pictures of different guns, but we'll also take a picture of the booth number and all of that for Rod and Aegis Gun Care. So if you are there, go check out Aegis and tell them that Clover and I sent them and all of that. And you might not want to say that because they might charge you double if you tell them that we sent you.
Well,
but go and say hi to Rod and Shelly because they're great friends of ours for sure.
Well, I'm going to tell you something too. Be on alert. Just be aware and be on guard. This weekend at the gun show we did, for whatever reason, Shelly came alive, and she's like a selling dynamo right now. And somebody stops in to say something, and she latches onto them. And they don't leave without buying something.
Well, first of all, the fact that Shelly's become a dynamo does not surprise me.
No,
that's kind of when she gets in the mode, she's in mode. And so, and honestly, I'm there to see her this weekend. I can talk to you whenever. I don't get to see Shelly, so I want to go and spend time with Shelly. I might have to kidnap her from me and walk around with her for a little while.
Well, if you would rather see me than her, then you got issues.
This is true. This is true.
And I can't help you with those issues. So.
No one can. I've been trying for years, so it's what it is.
Who knows? Yeah. Oh well. Well, Clover,
we're gonna have a great time.
Hi.
What's that?
I said, "Is Clover there? You can at least say hi."
I am here, but
okay.
Y'all were sucking up all the oxygen in the room, man.
So Clover's just jealous of the bromance, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I am not getting involved with that bromance there. I'm not there. There's no love triangle. You guys are good.
There's not even no, hell no. There's not even a love segment here. Okay, so
I hope not, because one of us is going to make the triangle. I think that's what it's going to work.
Yeah, well, it's all you.
You know what they say about tripods, right? Just saying. Bipods are great, but tripods are even better.
Well, you all just tell me how that works out for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of got dark there for a second, didn't it? Yeah.
Man, what's going on up here?
Yeah. All right, Clover, go ahead and talk about what you want to talk about. More importantly, like I said, if there's anything else we missed about Wanamaker, go for it, because you've been working with Carrie and all of them for a while. You want to is there anything cool insights about Wanamaker that we haven't talked about?
I don't think so. No. It's a pain in the butt for us to get our media passes every year. So if anybody makes that journey on Friday to go in and get those, hopefully it's a little better streamlined this year. But there's this chick. What is her name? Is it Julie or is it? I don't even remember.
Oh, the one that kind of like
the blonde-headed, the blonde-headed chick,
the blonde that never remembers us, and
we've worked this every single show for 4 or 5 years now. And we always get media passes, and for some reason, she never remembers us or anything. So, no, I mean, what I'll say, I guess,
to tell people that don't know. I think everyone here knows about Aegis Gun Care.
That is weird.
Hey, Rock, can you mute that?
No, my tablet just started all by itself. I shit you not.
Oh, sweet. That is awesome.
And I can't get it to turn off. Hang on.
Haunted Hotel.
Nobody else can mute him because Ghost doesn't have access.
Yeah, I can mute him. There, I just muted him. I muted him. Yeah, I forgot I could do that on my phone.
Yeah, I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, the blonde chick, and every year she forgets that there's 10, 12, 30 freaking media people. Yeah, right. Whatever.
Forget you guys.
Yeah, it's weird. So hopefully we can bypass that this year. I'm hoping. I've kind of worked with Carrie on that. No, I mean, I guess a couple things. The first is that my sort of wish list for Wanamaker, that video dropped earlier, so check that one out. I did back and forth a little bit through text with Two Gun Kitty, so I do got communication with them, which would be nice. Definitely, we're all pretty easy to get in touch with. Outside of DMs and PMs and AMs and interwebs if you can, which would be text. If you plan on making the trip and, want to make sure that you don't miss us there at the show or whatever. What else is there? There was something else I was
if
gonna
there's
mention.
anybody else out there that's looking for something, get a hold of us through
True.
DMs or whatever, and we
True.
can look and say, hey, this is available. If worst case scenario, we can get a card from that gun shop or whoever and give it to you. If you're looking for something, we can look for guns for other people while we're there too. So,
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
No, you were talking about the live thing earlier. So I put out a poll earlier, and here's the thing. I think I agree with you. Probably for the show, at the time that I'm in Tulsa, probably Instagram. I haven't put a lot of
Yep.
time and effort into Instagram lately, but we can't show really anything from the show. There's too many people handling guns, walking around with them, that kind of stuff, and that's a YouTube policy issue, live streaming. So we're going to have to do that kind of stuff on Instagram if we do it. But another drawback to YouTube, and this is just my personal hang up, is live streaming, especially in kind of a downturn time we are right now on YouTube. If we don't get the engagement there, it can really hurt us. At least that's my perspective on my channel. And I put a poll out earlier, and only like 40%, for like 40% said that they would try to catch it, but they would watch it in replay. Well, that's not good enough if I don't, so it's looking like everybody's going to be busy on the weekend and may or may not be able, and I get that. So Instagram is, long story short, too late, I know, is that probably Instagram is going to be the place for me to do what I do as well.
Sounds good. Well, guys, TJ, Rod, any closing words to pass out to the masses out there?
No, just looking forward to it, and hopefully see a lot of people there.
I want you to be safe on the drive there, man. I know you got a long drive and you got to go through a lot of nothingness between there and Tulsa, but just be safe on the road for me.
Oh, I'm more worried about I haven't decided if I'm going to go around Denver and go through Nebraska or go down through Denver. It's an extra hour to go around through Nebraska, but it's probably less hectic. Denver's kind of
it all depends on what time you plan on going through Denver. If you go through it late at night or early in the morning, it might be okay. But if it's going to be during the day, yeah, I'd probably bypass it.
Yeah, it'd be through the day. So,
yeah. I don't know. Denver's a pretty place, but I wouldn't want to drive through there right now.
No.
TJ, you got anything else that you want to bring up, especially for gear report or anything like that?
No, we got the show tomorrow. I'll be there. Or wait, is it tomorrow? Thursday I'll be there at 9, and then I'm ready. I mean, this is like a mini vacation for me because me and Crystal are both going, so it's going to be
that's awesome.
I'll be on high TJ phase there, so there'll be some consumption.
Well, here's the cool thing about what I love about our community is G23 is going to be doing a live stream, and he'll if we want to jump in on his live stream, he can host a live stream. We can kind of give updates if we want to jump in throughout the day. So be on the lookout for G23 because one of us might jump in while we're outside or something, getting a bite to eat, and just kind of catch everybody up. But that'll probably be the only way I go live is if I jump in on G23s. But like, be looking on my stuff for Instagram. I'll be doing most of my stuff from Wanamaker on Instagram. But yeah, thanks G23 for doing that as well.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. We're coming on the 2-hour mark. I really appreciate everybody watching live. If you're watching in replay or listening in podcast, go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you're looking for anything in particular, or if you want us to, take some cool pictures of some cool guns that you're looking for, let us know what those are, and we can try to definitely take some pictures of those. If you're going to be in Tulsa and you haven't thought about or around Tulsa this weekend, and you never thought about going to the Wanamaker Gun Show, go. It's $10. It's the best $10 you could spend, and more importantly, go see SS Pawn while you're there. Go see Aegis Gun Care while you're there. Go see Fort Scott Munitions. Go see Black Rain Ordnance. There's some of the companies that we all work with and are all good friends with that are always there. Celtic Holsters will be there. So yeah, and there's going to be about 10 or 12 of us that are going to be there. So we get to meet up twice a year to see each other and all that, because some people don't go to shots. So this will be the only time we get to see some of these guys. So it's fun. It's a fun meetup and all of that. Come by and say hi to our table. Well, I'll put out a picture on Instagram and on Facebook, probably even in the community tab on YouTube of where our booth number is. So if you're there, come by and say hi. There'll be someone there at all times. There'll be more than people, more than others will be there. but there should be at least someone there at all times at our table and all of that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for the chat out there. It was great talking to everybody out there. If you're going to be in Tulsa, we will see you this weekend. Thanks for watching, and happy birthday to my Marines tomorrow. Semper Fidelis, and happy Veterans Day on Thursday. We'll see you soon. Semper Fi.